Yes, we're excited. And we do have a lot to get to, though, this morning. Breaking weather news, the death toll rising following a brutal line of tornadoes that ripped through the South overnight.
Yeah, at least one of those tornadoes cutting a deadly path for some 90 miles, devastating towns in Mississippi, including Rolling Fork, which is now being described as nearly leveled.
Now that system is heading east this morning. We're going to get the forecast in just a moment. But first, Rob Marciano has the latest from Rolling Fork, Mississippi.
Hey, good morning, guys. They've been working all night long searching and rescuing people here in the town of Rolling Fork. You can see they've even brought in heavy equipment because some of the debris is so compact. I mean, this entire town is completely flattened. You can see in the foreground here, this is just one of dozens of cars that have been flipped over by this, likely an EF4 or stronger tornado. This entire town wiped out, and it's not the only town. There's towns to our south and west and towns to our north and east that have sustained just as much damage as this massive storm continues its trek across the country.
This morning, at least 19 dead after this massive and violent tornado strikes western Mississippi, leaving the towns of Silver City and Rolling Fork in ruin.
It's there. It's there, big tornado. You see it? It's a mile wide. Take cover immediately.
Watch as this video from AccuWeather shows storm chasers heading straight towards the dangerous twister as fierce rains help their vehicle.
Right in front of us. Yeah, slow down. Back it up.
The tornado's deadly path stretching over 90 miles. Homes torn apart, businesses left in ruin, debris strewn everywhere. Dangerous power lines fallen across roads, the power out to nearly everyone in Sharkey and Humphreys counties.
Complete and utter devastation. Just houses, roofs ripped off of houses, walls tucked down from houses, trees up. Seen several areas where parts of the asphalt had been jacked up from the ground. I mean, just complete devastation.
First responders now beginning the difficult work, searching through all this rubble, looking for any survivors who may still be trapped inside. In central Mississippi, the storm there tearing off roofs, residents running for cover.
Tried to get ourselves into the middle part of the house, and we did. We got in there, and obviously it was coming right behind us because as soon as we got in there, we heard a big boom.
The storm's destruction stretching to eastern Mississippi.
And we took a direct hit to the north side of town. We got major damage.
Leaving all this in its wake. Trees down, homes damaged, and lives destroyed.
Unsure as to how many people were injured here. The fatality count continues to grow across Sharkey County. There's at least a half a dozen shelters that have been set up for victims of this tornado. But folks are going to be rolling in here throughout daylight to get a full sense of the damage and obviously continue the efforts to try to save people here. Guys.
All right, Rob, thank you so much. Joining us right now from Mississippi is storm chaser Edgar O'Neill. Edgar, thank you so much for joining us here. You were in Rolling Fork last night. What did you see there?
Complete and utter devastation. I mean, house is gone, the gas station's destroyed, trees, power lines blocking entrances everywhere, stray animals, people wandering the street clearly in shock. You know, we saw a lot of first responders as well, just lots of people out there in the community helping. Police, fire, rescue, other storm chasers. There was a lot of people on the ground helping.
And Edgar, you were telling me you've been chasing storms for about a decade now, and you say this is one of the worst you've seen.
Definitely, this was one of the worst we've seen. I mean, a lot will be clearer in the morning once the light comes and we can get a better grasp on it. But yeah, this was up there with one of the worst that I've ever seen. All you can say is that it's shocking when you see something like that, even when you've been doing it for 10 years.
And you just mentioned that daylight. The storm hit a huge area in Mississippi. We don't even know how bad this may be in other towns now. Your team really is waiting for that daylight to see what's happening in those other towns.
Correct. Yeah, we're waiting for daylight right now because we do know that based on what we saw on radar and other observations from other chasers is that this was a long track tornado that went across several counties and several towns.
All right, and we are certainly hoping and praying for those folks there in Mississippi. Edgar, we are so glad that you and your team are safe. Thank you for joining us, sir.